Hello. Your web browser can only understand 3 different languages when you ask for a web page to be rendered in the browser. So let's take this document for example. We typed a URL here and the document arrived from a remote machine, and this document is an HTML source code that has been interpreted and rendered to give you a nice looking document. In this HTML you can have CSS rules for specifying the look and feel of the document, as we saw in a previous example. But you can also have JavaScript code, and JavaScript, when it's run inside the browser, can act as a glue between HTML and CSS. We will use JavaScript to provide interactivity to the documents. In this example, the first one of this page, I can click to change the content of the document. So we modified what we call the document object model. It's exactly the set of elements that compose the page. When I clicked, I changed the content of the heading that was previously equal to my home page. Then when I clicked on the button, this is an HTML button, and this is how in JavaScript we can indicate that we are going to do something when we click on it. In that case, it means call the function named change title. And the function is here defined between script and /script elements. In this example, the JavaScript lies inside the HTML file, and the function is a piece of code that can be run on different conditions. Click on the button, execute these 2 lines of code here. So first use, interact with the document object model, interact with the HTML elements of the page, add new ones, modify some existing ones, remove some elements. It can be also used for interacting with the CSS styles of the page. So in this example, I click on the button, and instead of modifying the content of the page, I just change the look and feel. I change the CSS styles of the heading. If we look at the code quickly without going into details, when I click on the button on click, I call the change title CSS style function, and this function will use the style attribute of some elements that correspond to the heading 1 here, and it will indicate that we want the text to be black, the background color to be yellow, and the border to be 5 pixels wide, dashed and colored in red. Okay, this was just an example. What we can do with JavaScript goes much further than these simple examples. We can work with remote data, upload and download data from a remote server. We can use it for making multimedia players, for writing video games, for making music, for building tables on the fly to display some dynamic data that came after, for example, we enter some text in a search form, etc. During week 1, we will see other examples with different sort of applications of JavaScript, and we will first give some explanations about variables, functions, some basic event handling, how to detect a click, how to debug the code, what tools we're going to use for writing JavaScript code, and so on.